Hi everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today's tutorial is going to be on understanding how to do locking filet crochet. So this is a basic example, and if you work along with me with some cotton, you can make yourself a coaster or a small hot pad, something for your coffee to sit on or tea, whatever have you. This is just a small example of how it's done in one way. There's multiple different ways to use the locking filet crochet stitch pattern. All right, so with that being said, this particular style could be reversible. So here we have this side is showing more of my favorite cotton right now. It's from hand-dyed from Dawn Erin Loving Hands Creations. I'm using that because I have this left over from a prior pattern and I want to use it for something for here. Also, I'm using some Premier Basic cotton. And I think that was like beige or cream. I can't remember which one that was. So the idea is you can use two different colors. You can use one self-striping or variegated, things like that. But the key is you don't want any of those colors to be your main color. Because if you do so, when you start doing patterns, you will lose that part because it will blend in with your main color. So, and you can do this vice versa. You can have your main color as a self-striping or a variegated and your secondary color as a solid. It's up to you. But when you see the patterns, you see the main side, the main overview of the pattern. And I will give some examples here. Okay, so now that you've seen those examples, those are some that I have previously done. Those are Lisa Conley patterns. She has very, very amazing patterns and hundreds of them in all different sizes, from your smallest throw baby Afghan all the way up to a California King with drape. She has beautiful, beautiful patterns. So for this, it is just a simple, we're locking around the edge all the way around. But the center of the project is not locked together. So if you look at it, you could literally create like a pocket with the two separate sections. Another way to look at this is what you are basically doing is you are taking two filet Afghans and interlocking them together. So if you're making an Afghan with, say, acrylic, and you're using a nice, thick, beautiful acrylic with the proper hook size, it's going to be super squishy and super thick. Now, this being cotton, it is not that way. I could drop down yet another hook size and get a little bit more of a fullness to it, but for the sake of the tutorial and showing you, I wanted to make sure you could see both sides of this. Okay, so if you want to do just a coaster and follow along with me, go ahead and grab yourself a little bit of cotton. I've already worked from these. There's plenty left over. We're going to do another one together. And grab yourself a 5mm hook is what I used for this, and both of the cottons are worsted weight. All right, go ahead and do that. A pair of scissors, a needle to sew in your ends, and 2 stitch markers. All right, to begin, we need to start with our main color and do our foundation section. And then we'll bring in our contrasting color and create that. So we need to start with a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to chain in multiples of 3 plus 7. So for this project, I chained 22 in my main color. Once I have my 22 chains, we're going to double crochet into the 7th chain from your hook. Now I'm just going to work into the front side. You can work into the back if you so choose. That's perfectly okay. Remember that this loop on your hook is just a loop on your hook. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're double crocheting into that stitch. Okay. So what we have is, with this skip of 6 stitches and we double crocheted into the 7th, this 6 stitches is a chain 2 on the bottom, a chain 2 for your first double crochet, and a chain 2 for the top. So that creates our filet square, the very first one. Now we're going to chain 1, 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the next. That's our second filet square, or window, as I like to call them. Chain 1, 2, skip 2. Now we're going to do this all the way to the end. Skip 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2, double crochet into the next. And then we have our last one. Chain 1, 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the last chain. So what we have now is our very first filet row of our project. We have a total of 6 filet squares. Now what I like to do is I chain 5 right away. 1, 2, 3 for the side, 4, 5 for the top. So that's the start of our next square. Then I place a stitch marker in that. And now we can begin the second part. So now we need to pull over our contrasting color, place a slip knot on our hook, and chain 3 less than your main color. So we're going to chain 19. All right, so with your 19, we're going to be working in between these squares, or in between the post into the squares. So we're going to pick up our main color. And the first thing we're going to do is take the tail of our contrasting color and put it through that very first square we made. The stitch marker on the other end indicates that's the end of the row. Okay, so we pull that through. And now we're going to double crochet into the 7th chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and get a hold of it here, 7. So I've got my 7th chain. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have my 7th chain and I'm holding it in the second square. I'm going to double crochet into that chain from the front side, from where you're looking at it. I'm going to double crochet into that chain. So I'm popping it up into that square. Now I'm going to chain 1, 2, skip 2, and do the same thing. So you can look at the back. That's one of our 2. That's 2. Here's the third one. So I'm going to hold my thumb near the third one, put that next square over the top, and there we are, just pushing it through to the front. I know that's the third one. It's a little tedious to begin with. Once you get started, it won't be that bad. All right, now we're going to chain 1, 2, skip 2, take a peek back here, 1, 2, here's the third. I'm going to pull it so I can see it on the front side, and double crochet into that chain. Just a quick overview. Let me pull up a loop so that way you can see. So here's our squares. And now we're making squares around those squares, or within those squares. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. We only have 2 more to do. So we're going to chain 1, 2, skip 2, 1, 2, and here's the third. Going to pop that through to the front here and double crochet into the top of that chain. Chain 2, 1, 2, and we are now at our last chain because there's only 3 remaining. So I'm going to bring that through to the front and double crochet into it. And chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And place my stitch marker into that loop, and we'll take a peek at what we have. So now if I pull that up, it's like your second row. If I pull that up to that area, you can see how they're locked together. So for this contrasting color, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 less square than the main color. All right, so now we need to flip our work over, and we're going to leave our contrasting color to the back. And we're going to start working into the top of our double crochets, skipping our chain 2s. All right, for the next set of passes from right to left with your main color and contrasting color. So if you're looking at this, we're going to keep our contrasting color to the back. As you see up here, we have more beige on this side. Now when we turn it over, we'll keep the contrasting color to the front. So there's just a little rule there of trying to make sure that your contrasting color and main color are going the right direction right from the beginning. All right, to start this row, we're going to do our next double crochet on top of the next double crochet. So we do nothing in the chain 2s except chain 2 and skip 2. So I have a chain 2 here from my original chain 5, and I'm going to come in from the back of that next square. I'm going to grab that beige double crochet and pop it to the back of the work, like such, and double crochet it. Chain 1, 2. Now the next 3 stitches are on the front facing side, so what's facing you. We're going to skip the next 2, double crochet into the next, and we're going to repeat that 2 more times. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. You're working main color into main color, contrasting color into contrasting color, and always into the double crochets or the chain end. So here's that one. We need one more. Chain 1, 2, skip 2 and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, and now we're down here to the last actual double crochet before our ending chain. We want that to go to the back facing, so we're going to push that double crochet to the back. So you can come through, grab hold of it, and bring it to the back of your work and double crochet it. Then chain 1, 2. Now here you can either skip 2 and double crochet into the next, or you can just go around that chain. All right, chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Replace the stitch marker. Now it's ready for the next row. It helps when you chain that extra right away to move your yarn to the front or back, and it adds weight to stay there. All right, next we're going to work our contrasting color across. So same side, and pull that up so that way we can see it properly. So now we're going to grab our contrasting. Now it stays to the back, and we work every stitch on the back side, so the back facing. So we're going to skip that next chain 2 and double crochet into the next. Chain 2, 1, 2. Skip 2 and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2. Skip 2, double crochet into the next. Once again, we're only working in. You can move that forward if you like. Just make sure that your squares are lining up. Chain 1, 2. And now for our last one, as I said, you want to make sure they're lining up. You see how this is pulled. We need to move that chain over to its proper space, so that way we can work into or around that chain. So chain 1, 2 after your last stitch there, and double crochet either into the third chain or around the chain. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and replace the stitch marker. All right. So here we are with our 5 squares on the back and our 6 on the front. Now we're just going to turn our work over and begin the next 2 rows. All right, so now we're back to the main color. We're going to keep our contrasting color to the front. So we're going to keep this to the front here. Move it over here to the front on this row. And our main color is the color that we are working. So for the main color, we're going to pick back up on our turning chain here. And we're keeping the main color to the front for the first stitch. So we're going to double crochet on the front into the first double crochet there. Chain 1, 2, and the next 3 are on the back. So we're going to double crochet, and you can push that forward so you can see those. And we're going to double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip the chain 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2. The next one is on the front, so we need to pick it up from the front and double crochet into it. Now chain 1, 2, and either skip 2 and double crochet into the next, or double crochet around that chain. So here's how it's looking. I'm going to chain 5 and replace the stitch marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to go back to the right hand side and pick up that contrasting color. And here it is in the front of our work. And every one of these is in the front for this row. So let's pick up that, and I'm just going to grab hold of it because I'm creating a little pocket here. So I'm just going to grab hold of it and double crochet into the next double crochet stitch, chain 2, skip the chain 2 and double crochet into the next, and repeat that to the end. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next, coming down here to the end, and now that I've reached the end, I'm going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and replace my stitch marker. Now we're going to turn the work over. And our contrasting color will stay to the back. We're going to bring our main color to the front. We work the main color first. The first stitch is behind, and you can see it's in the back. You can see how our contrasting color is covering that double crochet post compared to the next 3. So we go behind to the back, double crochet into that next double crochet stitch, chain 1, 2, and now the next 3 are in the front. Chain 1, 2, double crochet into that next, chain 2, double crochet into the next, chain 2, and here we are at our last 2 stitches. Again, that second to last is in the back. So we're just going to pop it to the back. Chain 1, 2, and double crochet around that last chain. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we have to work our contrasting color across. So we're going to pick it up now. And every one of these is worked on the back side. So I'm just going to kind of push the beige main color forward and start double crochet into the next. Double crochet from the row below. Chain 1, 2, skip the chain 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip chain 2, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, skip 2, and double crochet into the next. Chain 1, 2, and here's where you want to make sure that you're going in the right spot, because you might have pulled it a little tight. You want to make sure that your last one is in that last window space. So go around that chain. And you can keep up with this by keeping track of how many double crochets you have. You can also look on the back side of your work and make sure that you're lining up all of them. Okay, so let's see where we're at. All right. right, we're doing one more row like these two that we've been doing. So one more trip across, and then we will close it. I'll show you how to close it up. So again, we're on the opposite side. We're going to keep our contrasting color to the front and begin working our main color. The same as we've done our first one on this side is to the front. Here we are, double crochet, chain 1, 2, skip 2, and the next 3 are on the back of the work. So skip 2 and double crochet into the next, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next, chain 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. Now we're at the next chain 2, and this one comes to the front. So that last window, you're going to bring it to the front. And double crochet. We're not going around our contrasting color. We're only bringing it either to the front or the back of the square. Then chain 1, 2, and double crochet into that last chain space. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place my stitch marker. Now we're going to work the contrasting color, which every stitch on this side, the contrasting color is to the front. So that's real simple. We're going to double crochet into the next stitch, the next double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next, chain 1, 2, skip 2, double crochet into the next. We're repeating this to the end. Make sure that you go around that chain into that last square. And chain 1, 2 for this, because that'll be, we're done with our contrasting color at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and put my stitch marker in there. All right, so we are ready to turn our work over. And we're going to finish this off by working our last main color row. So I'm going to pull up a loop here. And our last main color row, we need to interlock just like we did our first one. So we're going to, our first double crochet will be on the back. There we go. Chain 1, 2, and work all of these to the back. Make sure you line them up with the proper square that they need to go through. And we're just going to go from behind into the contrasting color square, grab that double crochet and pull it to the back, and double crochet. Chain 1, 2. We're going to do this again. Line up your next double crochet to the contrasting color square, yarn over, pull that double crochet to the back, and double crochet. Chain 1, 2. Again, line everything up, pull that double crochet to the back, and double crochet. Chain 1, 2. Line everything up, pull that double crochet to the back, and double crochet. Chain 1 and 2 and double crochet into that last chain. And I'm just going to chain 2 and place my stitch marker. So we can take a peek at this. So you will always end with a main color on one side and a contrasting color on the opposite side. That's just the nature of it. All right, so here we have our 2 matching coasters. Let me turn it over so you can see the other side. So here's our 2 matching coasters. And then you would just cut away and sew in your ends. And that is all there is to it. All right, everyone, if you have any more questions or need something explained further as far as this basic locking filet crochet, please feel free to ask down in the comments section, or reach out to me on the Facebook group as well as on Instagram. I am not there as much as I am on Facebook or YouTube, but you can reach out to me and I will do my best to answer. And if I have to create another video, I absolutely will. So this is just a basic locking filet crochet how-to. Hopefully you were able to follow along and understand how that is accomplished. Be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.